Unfortunately, since my last video discussing the Jschlatt controversy that you should definitely check out, it seems like Jschlatt found himself in a lot of trouble a few times. Apparently he's a bigot, racist, xenophobe, but was there more? Let's just throw in some grooming, might as well. These allegations are 100% true, and I believe the victims that have spoken out against Jschlatt fully. It really saddens me that so many 14-year-old white girls have been affected by his words this badly. In my last video, I speculated that Jschlatt was involved in the terrorist attacks on the Twin Towers. Since then, I've been made aware of a few inconsistencies between the two individuals. It was entirely my fault for getting this one wrong. My bad. I know you rely on me for getting the facts straight, and the fact that I got this one wrong was a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment. And it will not happen again. I will not allow it. Since then, I've been thinking a lot about this stuff, and I do believe that I've been able to conduct an entirely new and improved conclusion. That this time is entirely possible. I made sure to check up on the ethnicities this time, and we're all clear. So let me begin by stating that Jschlatt's involvement in the 9/11 attacks are and will probably always be classified information. Whether he did or did not have a severe involvement in the attack will remain a secret, lost to time, like Rosie O'Donnell, hopefully.
Well, Rosie is a loser. Rosie's been a loser for a long time. Rosie is somebody you get tired of. Total failure. Rosie is a failure. She's both unattractive inside and out. A very unattractive woman. Very unattractive woman. Unattractive. She'll say anything that comes to her unattractive mouth.
Do you think people will look at this and say, ooh, Donald's being a little harsh by calling her a fat little piggy and sort of coming down to her level of what she's doing?
Well, look, Rosie's a very unattractive woman.
To briefly discuss my involvement in the New Yorker Gate conspiracy, about a month ago I released the video, Jschlatt, I'm so confused. In the video I discussed my belief that Jschlatt played a part in the 9/11 attacks, in a more prominent role than we were led to believe, with questionable evidence to substantiate my claims. Either way, that doesn't really matter. The important part was that I forgot about the ethnicity of Jschlatt and the pilot, so I guess that probably was an important detail to miss out. My bad. Anyways, let's not dwell too much on the past. It's about the future, and now after plenty of time to research and an even more bulletproof theory, I present the next step towards the truth. Let's begin. After discovering my one fatal flaw in the last video, I began to think about things, especially about things that seemingly did not make sense to me at the time, and that gave me a lot of answers. Jschlatt recently moved from the beautiful state of New York to Texas. This move felt very sudden to many and left me in a lot of confusion. Why would someone that prized themselves on being such a big fan of New York just up and leave just like that? Remember when I revealed the true definition of Jschlatt? Well, there's another definition that I discovered, this one being even more damning. So what does this mean? Well, it's actually very simple, and I'll explain. It's pretty much given in the first word, John. There have been a lot of famous people throughout history known by John, so to narrow it down a bit, we can conclude that since Jschlatt is white, that the John that is being referred to must also be a part of those categories, and that narrows it down a bit. But there's still some way to go. So to truly understand who's being referred to, let's try to analyze the rest. What does this mean? For someone to hardly still be able to live means that they're either old or something happened to make them turn to the state of almost not being able to live. Like for example, maybe an assassination attempt that was almost successful. So let's think a little. Who across American history is named John and was almost killed? There's two main contenders, John Lennon and John F. Kennedy, the President of the United States of America. We can definitely cross out John Lennon, since a man of slash nature probably isn't made for the hippie lifestyle. And that leaves us with one candidate remaining, John F. Kennedy. This actually makes a lot of sense. Let me explain. Jschlatt was supposedly born on September 10th, 1999, as I stated in the last video. Now let me tell you what happened in 1999, except for, you know. John F. Kennedy Jr. died in a flight accident at this time. It's not truly confirmed if Jschlatt had anything to do with this, but given his history, I wouldn't doubt it. He was born in 1960, and 3 years later his dad was assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald. Guess what happened 3 years after 1999? Well, 2002 happened, but before that, 9/11. If you're not following, I never said that my previous theory was fully debunked. Luckily, conspiracy theories have a tendency of utilizing broken evidence, so no one will ever be able to shatter my ego by telling me that my theory is wrong, because there's a chance. So to recap, John F. Kennedy's son died in a plane accident the year of Jschlatt's birth. 2 years later, he would supposedly play a part in the 9/11 attack. That's suspicious, but if you're not following my theory, as the description of the name Jschlatt would suggest, he's linked to John, who's still alive. I believe that the J in Jschlatt does in fact not stand for Jesus H. Christ, as he would have you believe, but instead his name holds the key to this mystery. He's actually John F. Kennedy, hiding in the Witness Protection Program. After almost being successfully assassinated back in 1963, this would explain Jschlatt's craving of power and the reason for his presidential campaigns. If this isn't enough evidence to win you over, let me present my last piece of evidence. On the Dream SMP, Jschlatt played the role of a president, and you wanna know what happened to him on that server? He was John F. Kennedy'd multiple times, which now looking back at it, with what we now know, should be an obvious sign of him hinting at what's really going on. I rest my case.
2 weeks, man, I feel like Johnny Depp. All these pills, no wonder why your ass is slipped. Try to big, moves are big, but I do not overstep. I get my money somehow, but I do not want no counterfeit. Yeah, that's my golden rule.